We've all played with that guy before, haven't we? Whether in Magic the Gathering, video games, or even Monopoly, it seems like there's always someone making the game unbearable for everyone else. And unfortunately, D&D seems to attract those people more than any other hobby. Now, no D&D is better than bad D&D, and if you're in a position to leave a group with players like this, more power to you, but one, that can lead to serious conflict within an otherwise good friend group, and two, a lot of these issues are actually fixable. Fixing it is 100% not your job, and it's on the problem player to fix themselves, but if you do have the time and energy, some people can learn and better themselves. Some, that is. Do not bang your head against a concrete wall with someone who doesn't want to change. And if you think you may be a problem player, or want to educate your own problem player, I'll be offering solutions to these problems herein. Also note that these are not exclusive to players who play characters, as DMs can also be problem players. And if you don't want to be a problem, subscribe and hit the bell. You can even learn to be a better YouTube viewer by hitting the like button. Very special thanks to our patrons, Remy Sweet and Of Winter. Our Patreon is in the description below. I am the Penitent with College of Lore, and this is the 10 worst problem player behaviors and how to fix them. Number 10. Not wanting to adventure. So, everyone is all ready to start their campaign. You meet in the tavern, and one of your players is sitting in the corner. Their party members try to push them to join up, but the character stoically refuses, and the party leaves him, down a man, or spends half the session trying to pull him along. Nobody has fun, least of all the player. This is one of the most common mistakes by many players, especially new ones. How to fix it? I mean, listen, most of these entries could be answered by have a session 0, but this one especially. The DM and the player in question should be making a character that genuinely wants to be doing this. Someone who, through ambition, desire, or sheer need to eat, will be agreeable to adventuring. It doesn't have to be a deep motivation, but it does have to be a motivation. Alternatively, the setting can force the players to work as a team. A campaign like Curse of Strahd can leave the player no option but to go with the strangers in the same situation, because they're trapped in a place or pursued by the same enemy. That or make them make a new character who actually wants to adventure. Number 9. Arguing. A difficult ruling has come up this session. Doesn't quite matter what. How is falling damage calculated? Can you get spell slots back on a short rest? Is it time to level up? The DM, not wanting to halt the game, makes a decision. Is it the right one? Doesn't particularly matter. Immediately, a player objects, either out of interest of fairness, in heavy quotation marks, or a very generous interpretation of the rules. This discussion of rules and how certain things should be done turns into a screaming match that takes hours and ends in tears. Game night is well and truly ruined. How to fix it? If you're the DM, understand your word is final. If you're the player, understand the DM's word is final. Obviously, you'd like to get the rules right 100% of the time, but Rule 0 exists. Now, rules lawyers, you do provide a very valuable service. During or after the session, depending on the table mood, you can simply ask the DM, would you like to know the official rule, or tell them, hey, I don't think this was a fair interpretation. Whatever the DM says from there, accept it. Either they will take your advice, or be happy with the rules they're running. Oftentimes they'll be glad to know this, and all is well, but arguing and turning into a fight for desperation to be right won't do anything beneficial for your group. If they keep making bad interpretations, or you feel the DM keeps screwing you in particular over, it may be time to find a new DM. Number 8. Bigotry. This is one of the worst situations you found yourself in. One player at your table offhandedly mentions their character is trans, only for another player to roll their eyes, scoff, or groan. This has become a horribly tense and awkward conversation at this point, and this probably white male player explains his bewilderment at why it matters, and oh no, your whole role-playing game is ruined. How to fix it? This one is delicate, and I'm not claiming to have solved racism here. If the player is aggressive or not amenable at all, that is grounds for immediately ejecting them from the game. There is no place for unrepentant bigots in this hobby. However, oftentimes there's a lack of exposure or understanding of real people, and not media strawmen, and that can lead to barely understood bigotry. It is not your job, and certainly not the job of players who may be minorities, but if you have the capability to have it, the only solution is a real and frank conversation. Exposing them to genuine perspectives of real people who deviate from the quote-unquote norm might be one of the best ways to turn misplaced hatred into true understanding. But that's just my perspective as someone who's broken free of indoctrination myself. Number 7. Edgelords. Oh no, it turns out that Tiefling Bloodhunter was as bad as you worried it would be. One of your players murders anyone who tries to speak to them, steals from their own party, and wrote a backstory about how they killed a god after that god took their parents as a child. They've already killed several plot-relevant NPCs, and your game notes lie in tatters at your feet. How to fix it? Well, Session 0 certainly helps, but let's say you forgot to do that, silly you. So how do you scale it back? The behavior often comes with the transition from video games to tabletop games, and a frank conversation about the living world and consequences is a really good start, but sometimes heads are thicker than water. Yeah, that's the phrase. You have to introduce consequences. Players can't just kill whoever they want without guards, nobles, and even gods taking notice and punishing them justly. Don't necessarily murder them outright, but putting them in jail or debt to a good god could be crucial to actually letting their character grow beyond the edge. Gods help you if you have a party full of them, though. Number 6. The Class Clown. Role-playing is hard, but you were sure your buddy, the one with deep-seated insecurities about being vulnerable, the one who copes with the overwhelming pain life has heaped on them with humor because it's all they have left, the one who, this metaphor got away from me. You thought your friend who can't take anything seriously would suddenly become David Tennant when the dice came out. But now, their character, named something clever like Barf or Butt Cheek, has undercut your most important scenes at every single turn with an off-color joke. And while their goal is to make the table laugh, all they're getting are groans and mild annoyance as you try to salvage your scene. How to fix it? Well, my first thought rhymes with Mesh and Miro, but I digress. While presenting NPCs who are disgusted or annoyed by their antics will only go so far, the best way to fix this is to give the player exactly what they want: attention. This will be hard and may be cringe-inducing at the start, but whether it be an NPC taking a liking to them, a villain picking a keen interest in them, or using what you can from their backstory to make a mini-arc, all of the Briarwood arc in Critical Role, give them attention beyond the laughs, give them something to do and a way to be incorporated more fully into your world. It is really, really hard not to get truly invested when that happens. Number 5. Temper tantrums. Well, you certainly didn't sign up to DM for Caillou, but here you are. Maybe they felt they were targeted, or are ready to throw hands over a character death, or just massively overreacted to a counterspell, but you now have a player throwing a huge temper tantrum and the whole table just got really uncomfortable really fast. How to fix it? Listen, despite appearances at the present moment, you are all adults. This is one of those things that only a conversation will help, and bending to them in game will only create more problems. Just explain to this player there's nothing personal to this. If they felt targeted, explain why. If they had a character death, maybe discuss options for resurrection or a new character. Ultimately, sometimes people just need to be told that it's just a game. Failing that, stickers do seem to work at the dentist. Number 4. It's what my character would do. This phrase is likely to make the heads of D&D players shoot up like gazelle who hear a lion in the underbrush, except the gazelle have pitchforks, and the lion is about to be burnt at the stake. Whether it be stealing from the party, entirely derailing a quest, or doing something like letting a coin choose all of their actions, someone is doing something that is a serious problem at your table, and they give you this as a response. How to fix it? Fundamentally, if what your character would do sucks, you made a character that sucks. And while that character may be more fit for the shredder than the table, there are, God's willing, some solutions. A bit of entries 7 and 5 on this list, both talking to them about why their character would do this, and introducing a fair bit of consequences just what the doctor ordered. Playing a flawed character is great, but maybe making those flaws less actively harmful or annoying to other players is a good start. And if their party is bothered by them, you better believe NPCs will be. After all, it is what their characters would do. Number 3. Metagaming. Well, this is a bit suspect. Every trap in the module has been deftly stepped around, every irrelevant room ignored, and one of your players has a tendency to have just the right damage type prepared for every encounter. That's right, you have a metagamer. How to fix it? Well, assuming talking is out, time to change things up. Slide that trap one tile up or back, make some homebrew additions to monsters that throw the game plan of this player off. If a player insists on metagaming, you have to change the meta. It is worth the disclaimer, however, in-character knowledge of enemies is not metagaming. Number 2. Breaking the game. Oh no, the situation is critical, one of your players found D&D TikTok. Inopportune reminder that we also have a TikTok, by the way. Follow us there. Your player, whether with ingredients for a peasant railgun or a souped-up coffee lock, is planning to treat your game like they are bug testing a new video game. How to fix it? Again, yada yada, session 0, conversation, I've said that enough. You have to understand the rules, what part of the rules as intended they're trying to take as written, and lock that down. A peasant railgun doesn't work with physics, and a coffee lock will start to take levels of exhaustion. But honestly, I know I've said conversation a lot, but simply saying, hey, we're trying to tell a story together, not win against each other, may be all that needs to be said to set them free. Do check us out on TikTok, we upload. Sometimes. Number 1. Main character syndrome. Oh my, you found yourself a very special character. Or at least they think they are. A party face is one thing, but if they're involved in every scene and they draw them out for hours of shopping, while their eyes glaze over the second any other player gets to do anything, this is a problem. How to fix it? This is partially a maturity issue, and honestly, while this may be the worst problem on the list, real-world bigotry aside, it also has the simplest solution. Either cutting the problem player off so another player can speak, or asking pointed questions to different players consistently, and only accepting their answers, may be the way to get it done. So, yeah, really the best answer might just be a firm no. And that's our list. What other problem player behaviors did we miss, and how would you fix them? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video from College of Lore. Remember to like this video, subscribe to join the party, and have a fantastic adventure.